Hello everyone, it's TJ. Welcome to New Zealand Mysteries. If you are new around here, please stick around, have a look. I do New Zealand cases, but I also do international ones too. Now, quickly got to say that I'm not going to show my face on screen because my webcam's really bad. Until I can get a new one, I have to not go on screen. I'm sorry about the quality of the video, but I hope that you guys can still enjoy this. So let's look at this case. NewZealandHerald.co.nz, we're going back to 2017 and 27th August. This was put out. Now I always go on about the limited amount of articles when you do a New Zealand case. This one was no different. We've got one article. Good thing is though, it's really good. The family have helped put it together, so it's good. Let's go. A guilty secret inside the killing of Hamilton man Frederick Hayward, who we're going to call Rick, who vanished on the way to the Raglan family batch. Now, I just want to take a wee listen to this.
It's hard to describe the strain of not knowing what happened to Rick. You have to keep control of the mind, or at least for me, or my mind goes into a whirlpool of looping scenarios, a kind of...
So I'll obviously put in the description box below the sources to this, so if you want to see the whole video you can. Kate Hayward remembers the fresh orange peel scattered a few metres from her husband's little Toyota hatchback, and the cold. It was so cold, she said, as searchers fanned out the torches, blowing their whistles, calling her husband's name, falling silent, and then walking on. Police had told her not to come to the place where Rick Hayward's empty car was found at the summit of the gravel Old Mountain Road, the narrow, winding, sometimes New Zealand rally route, whose other claims to fame are its World War II fortifications and its status as the original link between Raglan's rolling brakes and Hamilton's roving masses. Let's have a quick look at where we're talking about here. So I'm going to have to move this picture for a minute. If I zoom out, we can see the North Island of New Zealand. And if we go back in, as best I can. Alright, so we've got Hamilton to the right here, where the family lived, and the holiday home, the little batch, was in Raglan over here. So from what I can tell, the Old Mountain Road sort of runs up here, or something like that, and this is the Karamu Trail track, so not a lot. And if you look at this, there's not a lot there. All it is rugged terrain, hills. So, yeah, crazy place. But of course, Kate did come. The 67-year-old who had vanished clad in no more than a brown cotton top, tan pants and khaki cap was her husband of 43 years. She first fell for the adventurous Londoner in bell-bottom trousers and Danish clogs at a 1960s Northern Illinois University, and the father of her two adult children. No one had seen him since he left the couple's Hamilton home about 5 p.m. on September the 2nd, 2013, roughly 27 hours earlier. As the darkness passed, she tried not to turn on the heater. She said, "I wanted to be able to feel what it might have been like for Rick, but couldn't. It was so cold we had to turn the heater on." Now, this may seem odd, but guys, I've heard of this happening, and it happens. Later, after the search was over, the couple's son had driven the little Toyota home. Other feelings came: remorse and guilt. She said the last time the couple spoke was when Rick called his wife at work and asked if she would go with him to the family batch, a 1940s weatherboard cottage in Raglan, a holiday home. He didn't want to go by himself, she said, but I encouraged him to spend a few days in Raglan. So many times, she said, I have thought that if I'd gone with him, he wouldn't have got lost. If only has played in my mind. I just want to reach out and give this lady and the children a huge hug. This is absolutely heartbreaking. Again, heartbreaking. Is Kate Hayward alone in her feelings of guilt? Has someone else been harbouring a horrific secret for years? In a shocking twist on disappearance of Rick, Hamilton Detective Sergeant Andrew Saunders announced in June that police believe he was the victim of a hit and run, which was then covered up. He said, "We believe there was an accident, but that the driver or the people in the vehicle have then panicked and disposed of the body." And I wonder how he gets this information. It doesn't appear there's anything at the scene that gave them any ideas or of what happened, so I'm guessing it's tips. So keep calling them in, guys. Keep calling in the tips. Saunders still refused to reveal what info changed what everyone had believed for 4 years. The priority, he says, is to return Hayward to his family. He said it's not about running around trying to harass someone and put someone before the court. Our focus is to find Rick and get him back to the family. Now, I've got a little bit of homework for you guys. I want to know, if you could put yourself into the shoes, would be the family of the missing, would you rather, it's going to be hard to put in your shoes, would you rather have the person responsible caught and brought to justice in the court system and sentenced, or would you rather just get the remains back to bury them with dignity and respect? What would be important for you, do you think? It's very hard to imagine because we're not in that situation, but I'd like to hear what you got to say. If police are right, someone is living with a very guilty secret. Saunders has been a cop for 27 years and 20 of those as a detective, and he has never had a case like this one. He said, but you do come across times when offenders have done things they didn't intend to happen and then panicked. A guilty conscience, he said, was the key to finding out what happened. We actually hope they have a conscience. It's a big thing to keep to yourself. Another thing I want to know is, would that eat you up inside? Do you think? This is a picture of the summit of Old Mountain Road. Isn't it just absolutely beautiful? But you can see the kind of terrain around where Rick was. A New Zealand-raised man who murdered a friend and buried his body, telling no one, can attest to the terrible burden of keeping a secret. The husband and father, who spoke to Herald on Sunday on condition of anonymity, I got it, and kept it for 7 years. He said while his body was free, his mind was not. Okay, here's the identical picture. This is of a man they have been looking for. If you know this man, call it in. If they have any kind of conscience left, it would be tormenting them. You know, I've just seen so many pictures of Rick with his family, and he seems like an amazing family man and amazing dad. Kate watched her son search for his father that September night. He's their Kiwi baby, born after the couple and the daughter crossed the Pacific to escape the Ronald Reagan presidency and a failed campaign against a new nuclear power plant upwind of their Illinois home. And it occurred to his mother that her boy actually believed he would find his dad. Even then, just a few hours after the alarm was raised, she was under no such illusions. She said, I knew that he hadn't survived, not in that cold. The police helicopter swooped over this working farmland. Rick tended to take the road less travelled, both figuratively and literally, Kate said. So not surprisingly, his preferred route to Raglan was the Old Mountain Road. The Karamu Walkway intersects Old Mountain Road, and it was common for Rick to stop there and go for a walk. He liked to charge up a peak that took his fancy, so loved to run up the hills. By 9 a.m. it was raining, and Kate thought about leaving. It would be the first milestone. Even though she believed her husband was dead, she left a note on the Toyota's dashboard. It ended with a love heart. She said, I thought if he sees that, just that, he'll be reassured. But there was no reassurance. Tuesday turned to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, and then it was the end of the week, and the search was over. The orange peel scattered near the Toyota told Kate her husband had been here, but just like everything else left behind, his cell phone, his red plaid shirt, and his books on the dashboard, they revealed nothing more. I do wonder about the cell phone, guys. Do you think if he was going for a walk, just like in the bush a little bit, and you know, going to come back in the middle of the nowhere, would he take his phone? I'm in two minds about that. People take their phones everywhere, but yet if he was just getting out for a little wander, maybe not. Or did he get out of the car because there was something happening or someone there, and of course didn't take it with him when he got out? I don't know. Unfortunately, they gave no Hansel and Gretel trail to the direction he had taken. Now there's a possibility of learning the truth, though. There have been developments since police went public 8 weeks ago, but no breakthrough. Police have asked for sightings of 2 vehicles of interest, a dark-coloured Nissan Terrano, which we're going to look at soon, and a ute, possibly with the number plate TX in it. Now, for you guys overseas, a ute is the same shape as a Ford 150, I think. That's a really good photo of Rick. An identikit of a man described as 172 centimetres tall, medium build, unkempt and with blonde hair and a balding or receding hairline was also released to the public. So we just saw that one. Detective Saunders is cautious with what he will say. He said about a dozen tips have come in, including some related to the identikit. Will the truth ever be known, or will Rick remain among the sad ranks of the disappeared in New Zealand, like Mona Blades, Cursor Jensen and Amber Lee Cruikshank and so many more? I have videos about all of these missing people on my YouTube channel. Please go and have a look. There was no reason for Rick to disappear. Rick was a well-loved family man, well-respected in the community. Certainly he didn't involve himself with people who would want to cause him harm. So he's not hanging around people that are involved with crime. He's not hanging around people with drugs. He's just a all-good dad and family man. So shocking is the turn of the events that when Saunders sat in Kate's front room in February and told police believe her husband had been the victim of a hit and run, she initially was disbelieving. She said, as the months went by, I could see the police were convinced that the truth lay in a hit and run scenario. It filled me with hope that the personal persons with this information might come forward and my family and I would finally be able to lay Rick to rest. And of course in the bottom, along with link sources to all these articles and stuff, we're going to have the ways that you can contact police if you have any information about Rick Hayward. Also in the description box below will be ways to find our Facebook page and our website. You can donate. There'll be ways to look at that. It's never expected but always appreciated. Let's continue. As the months went by, I could see the police were convinced that the truth lay in a hit and run scenario. It filled me with hope and I realised I just read this one. So let's read the next one. It also eased her feelings of guilt, but the lingering anguish of not knowing what happened feels like being caught in a whirlpool, she says. She and her children focused on living in a way that honoured Rick's hopes and values. In her case, learning Te Reo and championing Palestinian rights. If you're not from New Zealand, Te Reo is the official language of the Māori, who are the indigenous people of New Zealand. Memories live on as a force of its own. A person who has been part of your life for decades leave imprints in so many ways. But it would mean everything to know what happened and to bring Rick home, she said. Very occasionally, in the course of a lifetime, a person will be given a rare opportunity to exercise a single act of great courage or to take an action that would be supremely merciful. Coming forward with information about Rick's last moments and where he is now would be such an act. Secrets are a heavy burden. They have a way of both seeping out and eating inwards. A clean exercising can bring relief and redemption. I pray that anyone carrying the secret of Rick's last moments and where he lays now will step into the light. And that's what we wish as well here at New Zealand Mysteries. We want this solved, or not solved, we just want to bring Rick home to his family. Let's look quickly at what the police revealed. So police.govt.nz, and this was 22nd of June 2017. Police are making fresh inquiries into the disappearance of 67-year-old Hamilton man Rick Hayward. As revealed on Police 10-7, after initially being treated as a missing persons inquiry, new information has come to light. We now believe something sinister may have happened to Rick, said Detective Saunders. It may be the case that Mr. Hayward was the victim of a hit and run. We are not suggesting that anyone deliberately knocked him down. However, the driver might have panicked and disposed of Rick's body, said Saunders. The investigation team is seeking help from the public to provide answers for Rick's family. Detectives urge local people or visitors who use Old Mountain Road, think back. Did you see a vehicle driving in a dangerous manner? Did you see a damaged vehicle? Did someone tell you about a crash they were involved in? Surely the guilt could be eating these people up, or this person up, and someone said something. People have called in tips, guys. Call in some more. Right, this is the photo of one of the trucks. It's not the exact photo, but it's a photo of one of the trucks that they are looking for. Police investigating the disappearance of Rick are appealing for sightings of two vehicles at the time he was reported missing. Rick may have been the victim of a hit and run, and someone may have disposed of his body. We are seeking sightings of a dark-coloured Nissan Terrano in the picture above, near the Kurumi track. Investigators are also keen to hear from anyone who saw another ute, possibly with TX in the number plate. We are interested in talking to people who may have knowledge of these vehicles, particularly if they sustained any damage. Police know that it's a long time ago, but there is locals that use that road, and they really want to hear from anybody that's seen or may have thought they've seen anything. Thank you guys for joining me for this story. I'm trying to get better at this, guys. I don't know if I'm getting better or not, but I'm really trying. I hope to get a new webcam soon, because I have a great case coming up that I've been looking into, a young 20-year-old missing in California, USA. So stick around. I'm going to get that done as best I can. Everything's in the description box below. I love you guys. Thank you so very much, and I will see you next time.